A very pleasant morning to all my dear children. Welcome back to English Online class of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayu. How are you all doing, children? I hope all my dear children are doing great and staying safe at home. Yes? Okay, children, let's start our today's session. We are discussing voice from our grammar text. Today we'll discuss active voice and passive voice. And voice doesn't mean the sounds produced by us. It has a different meaning in grammar. Let's see that through an example. For example, Nidhi purchased a dozen of books. So the second sentence, a dozen of books were purchased by Nidhi. So children, have you noticed these two sentences? Both these sentences convey more or less the same meaning, isn't it? Yet there's a shift of emphasis. Shift of emphasis means there is a change in the stress that we give to the words in these sentences. In the first sentence, who is the subject, children? Nidhi is the subject because Nidhi is a doer of the action. Nidhi is doing an action. And what is the action done by her? She is purchasing some books. She is purchasing or she is buying some books from the shop. So purchase is the action word. So the subject in the first sentence is doing an action. She is a doer of the action. Look at the second sentence. A dozen of books were purchased by Nidhi. In the second sentence, is the subject doing any action, children? Which is the subject in the second sentence? It is a dozen of books. Books is a subject. Is it doing any action in the second sentence? No. Books are not doing any action. Rather, it receives the action. So, in the second sentence, we can say that the subject is passive. Passive means opposite of active. Without doing any action. It's not doing any action. Children, let's see one more example. For example, Raju killed the snake. The snake was killed by Raju. In the first sentence, which is the subject? Raju is the subject. And Raju is a doer of the action. Raju is doing an action. And what is the action did by Raju? He is killing the snake. Killing is the action. Okay, killing is the action word or the verb in that sentence. Raju is a doer of the action. So we can say the first sentence is in active voice because the subject is active. It is doing an action. Let us look at the second sentence. The snake was killed by Raju. Here, is the snake doing any action, children? Is the snake doing any action? No. The snake is just receiving the action did by Raju. That's why we are telling that the subject in the second sentence is not doing any action. Rather, it receives the action. That's why the subject in the second sentence is told to be in passive voice because it doesn't do any action. So I hope you understood the difference between active voice and passive voice. If the subject is doer in an action, that particular sentence is told to be in active voice. And if the subject is just receiving the action without doing any action, that particular sentence is said to be in passive voice. I hope now you understood the difference between active voice and passive voice, and now you are able to define voice, isn't it? Yes. What is a voice, children? In grammar, voice indicates a form of verb that shows whether the subject is a doer of the action or the recipient of the action in a sentence. I hope you understood what is a voice and what is active voice and passive voice. Children, I hope you understood how to differentiate between active voice and passive voice. Try to do the textual exercises and we'll discuss how voice changes according to the tenses in our next video. So children, that's all for today. Let's wind up the session. See you in the next class.